Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. My name is Jose. I am a golden in Kendo, and today we're going to be talking about Kendo, answering your questions and just sharing overall our perspective in Kendo. So if you haven't, welcome first of all, welcome to the stream. And I haven't streamed in a little while, so it's been a second, so I'm still kind of getting situated with many things here. But thank you very much for passing by, and I'm sorry I haven't really been consistent with the streaming or posting videos, but hopefully now we can remediate that now. And if you noticed, if you saw my last stream, I was in Kobe before. I was in a different place. Now I am in Osaka. So if you have any questions about coming to Japan to practice or anything whatsoever, just let me know. Just put them in the chat and I'll try to answer as best as I can. The plan for today is to watch a couple of ippon, a compilation of ippons, and try to analyze them, kind of guided into shiai, but at the same time try to pick up what good habits can we take for our day-to-day practice to improve our kendo, because sometimes when we focus too much on doing kendo for shiai, I feel like we tend to do a type of kendo that might not be the best for the long run, right? It might be good for you to get an ippon, to do certain things to get an ippon, but might not necessarily be the best thing for you to develop these habits for practice. I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say, but hopefully I can pick those things up as we go along the videos. And again, feel free to ask your questions as we go along. So here we go. The video that I picked up for today is from Let's Kendo, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in the chat. I'm gonna put the video itself if you'd like to watch it later on your own. Let me just do that real quick. Right here. Okay, there we go. That's the link for the video. And let me see if my bot is working. If you would like to join the Discord server, the link should be popping up anytime soon. There you go. So if you'd like to join the Discord server, it's completely free and you can pass by, say hello, and just meet other Kendo people. Anyways, let me get here. Let me know how the volumes are for the music, if there's music or the sound here, because I don't know why I'm wearing this, because I don't have any feedback on the audio right now. I like the ippon compilation that Let's Kendo does. I wish that they did a little bit of a longer time before the ippon itself, because a lot of times what happens before the ippon tends to be very important in order to set up the ippon itself. So one thing that I'm seeing here is a little bit of that pressure by stepping in and then holding, right? So doing tame and trying to get a reaction from the opponent. So the Yodan player, the red player, it's trying to get a reaction from the opponent. Approaching, he gets a reaction where the opponent is going backwards, so obviously he doesn't want to attack at this point. Comes in a little bit closer, brings the back foot, and in one motion comes in to do a feint kind of for the kote, so gets the opponent to cover up. And as the opponent is trying to cover up here, he changes the direction and goes in for the man. One thing that I always like to keep in mind when you're fighting against a Yodan player is that if you bring your hands up, you're gonna be in a very vulnerable position. So maybe White kind of realized this, and maybe he thought I'm too vulnerable for the kote, and that's why he went out to cover that way. And at the same time, a lot of times when we cover up one spot, we tend to kind of relax a little bit after we kind of notice that the attack didn't go that way. So I think Red took a very good opportunity and just scored at the moment where there was a little bit of relaxation there. So very good opportunity. Kendo Journey, thank you very much for being here. And yes, I am back in YouTube. I have not left, but I just haven't been able to. First of all, I didn't know if I could stream with this internet connection that I'm here on, and just try to figure out the space and all the stuff. It's been a little bit of a nightmare. Had a lot of things going on, so that's why I had a little bit of a break, but I'm back, and hopefully I can make this more consistent. And I've been getting a lot of tips for my kendo in practice now. I'm practicing in Osaka, and I think I'm getting a lot more practices. and getting a lot more advice. So I kind of want to start finding a way to share those things systematically, I guess, just to kind of like as things evolve, because the biggest point is that oh, we have new subscribers. Samurai, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for subscribing. But a lot of the things that I've been picking up lately, it's just little details, but those details are making such a big difference. And I hope that as I start exploring those things, kind of sharing them, and yeah, just like developing all together, right? Because I'm not saying that I have the right way of doing it, but at least we can start a discussion on it. It's just also being a little bit of a challenge because it's hard to record at dojos here. So anyways. So I'm going to say that this is one of the skills actually that I've been trying to work myself into, and something that I see it very commonly here, and that's why I kind of want to pick it up. And it's this little push after, right? Like that engagement after a tayatari. Look at the red competitor, right? He is keeping his eyesight on the opponent. He's getting out of the way, but still focus on the opponent. Maybe he doesn't have the best positioning, but he's definitely stable, right? And as he goes around, he's already engaged and ready to go for a technique. So he doesn't go because obviously he doesn't have the opening, but if there were to be an opening, it's right there. So this is definitely one of the things that I'm working my hardest right now to develop, just because between stability and posture, the speed of re-engagement, all of these things I think make such a big difference when it comes to not only shiai, but also showing that you're present. If you're doing it for testing, for example, you want to show that you're present in the fight, right? And keeping this engagement, I think, is just, it looks good, right? And obviously it's effective, I think. And immediately when the opponent went white, if you notice something, when white re-engages after his technique, red is already engaged. So red is already looking for that opportunity. He comes in and he's able to kind of do that feint, go back to kamae, and then back into a technique and gets that man. Very cool. I think a big part of this has to do with that engagement very nicely. Oh. Wait, let me see this one more time, real quick. By the way, is anybody going to any of the events coming up in Japan? If you are, let me know. Maybe we can meet up. Or if you're coming to Japan, a couple of things are, I know a lot of people come in for Sakura, so maybe something. If you're here, let me know. So let's talk a little bit about the width of the legs. If you watch red, okay, let's watch it from here. So red steps in. If you want to think about it, like the way I'm seeing it lately, the way it's being explained to me a little bit right now, is that imagine that this is the standard kamae, right? And red brings the right foot forward, not necessarily to take a step, but to start giving that pressure. So many times you see that people try to replicate this look and they just stand in kamae way too far. But instead of standing in kamae way too far, he is approaching with that forward leg, trying to get a reaction. And then if he sees the reaction from the opponent, he goes in as a continuation from the kamae, right? So he starts moving forward and then he engages when he sees that opening, when the opponent starts making that reaction that he's coming in. And because he had that little momentum forward, maybe I should do this camera real quick. Hold on 1 second. So because he already has that, if you're in kamae like this with your legs separated, it's going to be hard. Maybe it's a bad shot because there's no space for you to look at my feet. But if you're in kamae from this position and you're gonna engage from here, right? You start from 0, you start moving. But if you start your kamae, if your kamae will have your legs together and you start like the motion, but you hold yourself back with this leg, the back leg, it's engaged already to go forward. And as you let go of this leg, you can finish pushing with the back to launch into a technique. So I don't know if that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. But the main point on that is that you don't want to have your kamae spread out and then from there start getting a reaction from the opponent. If you watch one more time, red. So here, he comes closer and he leans into the opponent, right? And he's not leaning forward, but he kind of gives a little bit of that little extra pressure. The opponent makes that motion where he's coming in, and he was immediately, it's instant. Maybe I should make notes of this to make a video about this, but ideally you want to be in this position where you're already pushing forward. Oh, make this camera. So like you're already pushing forward, and when you let go of that foot, it's immediate the motion. So there's no readjustment, there's no hesitation into going in. So, and this is such a good example, I think. It's no going back, right? Pretty cool. Very nice. So in this one, this is something that I'm also exploring. I've been exploring for a while, but now I am trying to put more attention to it. And it's just different ways that you can use your footwork to create a reaction or to approach your opponent, make an opening, and then take an ippon. So for example, in the previous one, you saw that the player put the right foot forward and then continue into it. So in this one, it actually took a full step, and then from there he jumped in to a technique. See, so depending on the type of reaction you get from the opponent, depending on the type of opponent you have, the opening comes on differently. So that's why I mentioned that I would like to look a little bit further back into the ippon, because it gives you a little bit more communication and understanding what happened and how did the player make that decision as just stepping in to attack. Also, there's another thing that he did, and this is one of those things that it might be a bad habit if you practice it constantly, but it can also be a thing that can get you an ippon during shiai. So if you watch, White is extending his hands, letting the tip kind of coming out of the center, and kind of gets a distraction from the opponent. He immediately returns back to center and comes in for the men, right? So he used it as a way to kind of distract the opponent and also kind of maybe confuse the opponent. But at the same time, this is something that can cost you an ippon if you have somebody that's engaged, because if you're leaving the center, your opponent can actually have that center, take that center from you and score your ippon, or at least counter you. So it's something that maybe during practice, you don't want to create the habit of always doing this, but it's definitely something good to start noticing and trying to put in your repertoire. Another thing that I don't necessarily like the way he did this is that he's extending the hands way out before he comes in for the technique. So if you see, look at this, like his tip, the tip is completely out of the center, and then he comes in for that man. So he had a good opportunity, he took the opportunity, but it could be very risky. Now, if you notice, he puts his hands way too out. He puts his hands way out, and that could put him out of balance, and something that maybe the opponent can take advantage of if the opponent is engaged. So something you might want to be careful and mindful, how are you approaching your opponent? Because once you have your hands extended, there's not much more you can do to create momentum on your sword besides just using your wrist and your tenouchi. And of course, he is able to bring with the left hand the sword around, but besides that, there's not much more that you can do to add more power to your sword. Let me know if that makes sense. Very strong ippon though. Very strong attack. Oh. So I wish we had a little bit of better view on the foot and the feet, but one of the biggest habits that I see people do, how do I say this? Something that you see very commonly in Jigeko and a lot of times in Shiai as well, is people coming into a distance, kind of stopping there and then attacking. So maybe if you feel confident, if you feel that you're fast, you think you can get in before the opponent reacts, that could happen, right? But at the same time, if you don't control the center and you don't make the opponent get a reaction, there are high chances that your opponent can counter you. For example, what's happening here? White came in. Wait. White comes in. They're in a very close distance, so maybe he feels confident that he can attack, he can get that man, and without really getting any reaction, he decides to commit for that man. So red, because he was centered, he was attentive, he was able to catch him and do that Kaeshi-do. Very good timing, I think. Okay. Very good timing. Very good timing. I think Kaeshi-do is always a nice technique I think Kaeshi-do is a technique that can teach many elements, and it's also visually pleasant. So let's watch this one more time. First, one of the good things that is happening, let's watch red first, and then let's watch why white fell for it. So if you watch, red is putting pressure, is coming in, he's keeping his hands close to his body, he's giving that pressure, closing the distance. He didn't get a reaction, so he didn't commit, right? Right after that, he does a little bit of a pressure forward. Oh, wait, he jumped the frame. He keeps putting that pressure forward. When the opponent commits for that man is when he starts that motion for that Kaeshi-do. So he brings in the sword, and in one motion he goes down for that do. And a nice follow through. Now from the white side, he's keeping a good distance, but at the same time, when he decides to attack, he's attacking without getting a reaction from the opponent. As a matter of fact, he's attacking because red gave that pressure. So in a sense, red made white get a reaction. The reaction was to go for that man. So if you watch, if you break it down, red approached the distance, he looks like he's gonna come for men, and then maybe out of desperation, white decides to go in for men, and red was expecting it, was waiting for it, and he was able to catch him. Hope that makes sense. Gloriam, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for passing by. You said you like red's distance control. forward, back, forward, Kaeshi. So yeah, it's one of the things that you gotta one of the things that you gotta practice for shiai especially, and also for Shinsa, is that you want to understand the communication between your opponent, your shinai, their shinai, and the distance. So a lot of times by closing the distance, people think that, oh, I close the distance, so it must be my turn to attack. And it's not necessarily that way. Obviously, for Shinsa, it looks bad if you're going forward and backwards, because that means that you're not really giving any pressure. You're not making, the goal is to make the opponent scared, right? So if you keep doing this forward, backwards during Shinsa, it might show that you're not really giving any pressure to the opponent. And at the same time, might also show that the opponent might not be engaged. So in this case, maybe both will fail, because maybe if nobody does anything, both will fail. But in shiai, it's a little bit more acceptable, I guess, to do this forward and backwards. Maybe that's one of those bad habits that we can develop from shiai, right? Because going forward and backwards, can give you the opportunity to start reading how the opponent is reacting, but at the same time, it's giving information to your opponent. How are you putting pressure? So it's acceptable, but it's not something you want to keep doing all the time, I think. Now, ideally, you want to give that pressure, and if the opponent doesn't do anything, still continue giving that pressure. And there's a point where you can go if the opponent hasn't done anything, but you definitely have to control the center, whether it is by doing osae, maybe harai, just to get the sword out of the way, doing something, just not blindly going because the opponent might be coming in. A lot of times too, you can come in, start making, and be patient, keeping the hands to your body instead of throwing the hands, just keeping the hands close. So as you go in forward, the opponent lifts because they're expecting for a Kaeshi, and then you can go for kote. Different things you can do, but if you're just blindly attacking without getting any reaction, you might catch yourself being in trouble against your opponent. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, let's get a conversation going about that, because I think that's a very interesting topic and something that I feel all of us need to practice more. Gloria, you said too non-committal for Shinsa. Yeah, for Shinsa, and people talk a lot about what's the difference between Kendo for shiai and Shinsa in regular practice, right? I think that in regular practice, you want to be able to get into the habit of going in and attacking, and understanding what it looks like when you give successful pressure, when you don't, and all those stuff. This is like, like the lab. You want to practice all these things. During shiai, you want to go in and try to find the opportunity, whether the opportunity is given to you or you create it, you want to take it. And you also want to be very careful, especially because you want to not give opportunities to your opponent, right? And in Shinsa, you have to demonstrate the elements necessary or the elements required for you to pass your shiai, your dan. And as you go up in level, well, from the beginning on, you don't want to be, going backwards. And maybe this is one of the things that we can talk a lot about, because there's a lot of elements to it, but you don't want to go backwards. You want to try to give pressure and get a reaction from the opponent, and not being able to give that pressure, that seme, is what's going to cause you to not pass your Shinsa. So anyways, we can talk for days about this. Let me know if anybody has any comments or questions about it. So something that I'm doing a lot lately, the past month or maybe 2 months, I done it, but now I'm focusing more. It's in the use of hiki-waza, right? So one of the things that you might notice here, that okay, he missed, but besides him missing, even if he wouldn't have missed, I think maybe would have not given a nippon, because he was kind of not stable enough. He was kind of maybe slipping, or not really in balance. And you can see by how he's holding the sword, how he's leaning the body back, it looks a little bit like he's out of balance. And I don't think he would have gotten such a good solid strike. Now, mind you, these players are really good at catching you and getting you even when they're out of balance. But I'm saying this is not the optimal way for you to start getting a hiki-waza. You want to have a more solid stance at the moment of impact. Oh, but that one though. Actually, I did practice shiai last week, and the last fight that I did, I lost a nippon. I lost the fight like this. I went for kote, and the guy had such a good standing. And if you see like, even though it's an awkward angle, the guy, it's in a more solid position to get that hiki, man. Yeah, this is. If you guys can learn this is solid, because you catch 99% of people like this, man. I don't think we practice hiki-waza fairly enough. Like, I don't think practice enough at all hiki-waza, and there's a lot of opportunities where hiki-waza can be very useful. Oh, wow, nice kote, very smooth. So smooth, man. Like, this has to be one of the smoothest kote on Jodan. That was so nice. Like, the standing, impact, everything. Very nice. Wow. Yeah, like the Jordan player couldn't like he couldn't get a break. He didn't get a break. This was a really good execution. So red comes in. I think one of the habits that you want to avoid creating for your kendo, it's doing the feint or doing, like the approach towards your opponent with your hands extended. If you watch red, that's what he did. He tried to control the center and extended his hands way too much. So then by the time that he's able to recover and do something else, it's a little bit hard. And not only that, well, actually, I don't think white really get that point, but it goes to show that maybe white didn't get this point, but white had enough time to come down for that man before red had the opportunity to go around with his sword. So it's one of the things that you want to keep in mind, that as you're approaching, the further away you have your hands from your body, the less control you're going to have, and the longer it's going to take for you to actually execute a technique. So be mindful of that. Oh, this is a very common situation at the dojo, and it's a very good solution to it right here. So, wait, right here. So many times people tend to cover up coming up like this, and if you're quick enough, sharp enough, you can go around and actually move your sword around their sword to get that technique, to get a men. Depending on how the person covers, sometimes they cover like this. You can go around, one side or the other one. Sometimes they cover up the other way, but whichever way they do, it's always a good thing to always be on the lookout. How can you move your sword around to get that ippo? Avi, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. How you been? Nice. Again. So, great execution of hiki-waza. Look at the posture. I kind of want to make a video on the things that I have learned for hiki-waza that make a difference, but because my hiki-waza is not good at all, right? But there's a couple of things that you want to keep in mind. Maybe people don't kind of go into detail about it. One of them is that if you look at their kamae right now, red has the right leg back, right? So normally you want to have your right leg forward, right? But at this moment, he has the right leg back, and a lot of times people hear players tell me to even have a kamae where both my legs are, side by side. But he has his right leg back, and depending on, how is it? If the opponent is going backwards, you want to bring the right leg forward. But if you're the one going backwards, you can actually do fumikomi behind you and push you back. And you see this a lot at college level competitions, or even in practices where like the students, like they're in Suba Seriai, and their footwork is not hiki-waza like this. They just kind of like jump in, sometimes just put it to the side, because what that does is that it allows you to create distance as you're getting your footwork ready for the fumikomi, rather than set the distance and then do fumikomi. So that being said, I don't think that we really explore this regularly at our dojos, right? Like that's something that you want to definitely at least start noticing. Look at that exchange. That's another thing that you want to. You see that alertness from red. Red is ready. Yeah. You see, like I knew he was gonna score the point just because of he was already engaged. I feel that white was overwhelmed, even though maybe he didn't really touch. But Avi, so yeah, I hope that you have a nice flight, and I hope to see you soon, bro. I'm excited. Nice attempt for that kote. Nice. Both. So this is the importance of being engaged and being ready. Nice. Oh, I thought white was the one that got that icon. Very nice from both sides. Maybe none of them got it. Nice kote. Nice. Oh, nice. You see, I'm gonna start sounding like a broken record, but if you raise your hands against a Yodan player, you enter in their house. So if you watch, Red has the hands up, tries to cover this way, and maybe he feels protected, but he gets hit in the kote. Nice, nice. You see, I think hiki-waza. And look, what I was mentioning before, that you want to do your waza, your hiki-waza, like on the spot, right? Like you want to have a solid grounding as you do the hiki-waza. You don't want to be kind of like slipping or sliding as you do it. If you watch, he sets up now with the right foot forward, right? And he hits that hiki kote and then immediately goes back. Very nice, very nice. Nice. So I like, wait, hold on. Mitochondrial boxer. Please do a video on hiki-waza. You feel like it's always so neglected in practice and you never talk about it. That's correct. And that's the reason why I haven't really made a video about it. Because for years I've neglected it as well. In the sense that in the dojos where I practice, I didn't have the opportunity to do it, and obviously I wasn't diligent to actually make a point on practicing hiki-waza, but I'm doing that now. So I will try to share what is being shared to me, but my hiki-waza is not there whatsoever, right? Like it's not bad, but it's not it, right? Like I'm not there yet. I can say that confidently. As the time I've been here in Japan, I managed to know the technique, but I don't feel that I can put it into practice, if that makes any sense. Every time that I even before I enter Tsubaseri or Taratari, I'm already thinking of what is that I have to do. It's not like when I do men that I know how to do men, right? I don't have to think about it. All I have to think about it's making the opening. I'm still thinking about it. So yes, I want to make maybe I'll make it a little bit as a conversational thing on sharing what I have gotten, and then maybe people can share as well, because yeah, I don't feel like my hiki-waza it's where I want it to be. Oh, okay, I wanted to mention about this. So again, what I was talking a little bit earlier, when it comes to the separation of the feet, if you watch, Red's feet are fairly close, but they're already a little bit separated, and because he already cannot give that pressure. So now he released a little bit of that pressure by bringing his body back and his back foot back, then retreating the forward leg, right? As he does that, then he kind of puts pressure again. You see, he brings both feet. He stops, but keeping that tension forward. He gives a little bit more tension, and then, and this is one of the, okay, so I talked about before, putting the back foot, the forward foot forward, and then continue, right? Then doing one step, bringing the back leg forward. But now in this one, he's kind of putting pressure with the forward leg. Then after he feels the right moment, he starts sliding that forward foot in and then committing for the technique. So all of these different approaches with your footwork gives you different opportunities and different execution of techniques that you can take advantage of to change the timing, change the rhythm in order to get an opening and score ippon. So that being said, you have to be diligent and practice all of these. Very nice, very nice. If you don't mind, I'm gonna call you mitochondrial because it's easier to say. And you say, that's fair, as a senpai in the dojo, Kohai always asks for certain to waza that, and you're like, I'll explain that when I figure it out. you'll keep an eye out for hiki content in the future. I will share what I've been what I've been getting, especially because everywhere I go, I ask about it. So like one of them is like what I just mentioned a little bit earlier, right? That depending if the opponent is going back, okay, maybe I should do this camera here. Okay, so if the opponent is going backwards, you want to do your hiki-waza with your forward leg in place and go back. But if the opponent is not going back, you want to kind of create a little bit of distance and then do the, I don't know if you can see that. Hold on, let me see my camera here. So you want to create a little bit of distance with your back, with your forward leg, with your right leg back, and you can do the fumikomi. I don't have space here, but you can do the fumikomi with your leg behind to push you, to kind of make you keep going backwards and make it faster without having, because many people, the mistake that I was taught, because it's not necessarily that, you know, this is how I was taught to do hiki-waza, right? That you have to make your distance and then you do the hiki-ren or the hiki-waza. So this in Kihon works, but in Jigeiko it doesn't. So the way that I'm told right now to execute the hiki-waza is that after you do taratari, first of all you have to have your taratari, here, right? Like pressing with your torso, right? Like you crash in, and if the opponent goes back, you can from here, you can come in for that man. But if the opponent doesn't go back, you can go back, and you cannot see my leg, but right leg goes back and hits the fumikomi instead of having to like reshift the back leg and go again to hit. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. This is one very good tip that I got so far for hiki-waza. The other one is to not use, obviously, your right hand to hit, right? You want to use your left hand, right? And if you're pushing here, right, it's wrong. You don't want to push forward, especially high, because then you're really putting yourself out of balance. What you want to do is you want to use your arms and your do to kind of hold the pressure. If you want to push in here, and when you have this distance right here, immediately you can come down for that man. You can pop instead of pop, or pop, or I don't know, pop and then back. So if you push out, that's it. Your leverage is gone. You have to push in here and then use your left hand to do your man. Yeah, if you can, just send me a message too. See how that went. If you can make some videos, that would be cool, because here it's been hard to record videos. So yeah, that'll be kind of cool if you could do that. I don't know if anybody here knows about the Discord server, but I'll put it right there on the chat. My computer's telling me that the stream is kind of slow. Let me know if that's the case. Okay, and let's watch one more ippon. Mitochondria, sorry, you got an ad right as you said. If you can message, what did you say? Okay, that's funny. Ads. What I said is that if you can make a video, record it, send it. I put in the chat the Discord server, so I don't know if you're there. You can send a message there. If you record video, you can send me there, or Instagram too. That works well. Okay. Let's watch this last one. Oh, a lot of good things are happening here. So he comes in to try to control the sword with a kote men, which, by the way, kote men is one of the safest techniques when it comes to, especially for team fights, when you feel that the need that you have to go in, is one of the safest techniques. Of course, it's not 100% safe. Don't think that you're gonna get safe just by doing kote men. But what I'm saying is one of the safest techniques, because you do a technique and then you also have continuation to it. You might mess up your opponent's technique as you do it, and then you close the distance, but you have to be always ready, and especially ready to do one more. So if you could do kote men, for example, or kote men do, all these things help a lot when it comes to building up like a safety net around yourself, right? So he comes in for that kote men. Very nice follow through. He closes the distance. His opponent is relaxed. And what does he do? He crashes in and immediately tries to go. Actually, he took too long. He should have gone earlier to do hiki-do. But cool thing is that red kind of cut into that and he went in forward. So a lot of times people, they think that they do this do, go out like this and they'll be safe. No, that is not the case. You have to be mindful and you have to be aware. I think that if white, instead of pulling himself so much to the side, if he would have come back to center, at least he could have crashed into the opponent and do something. But here he was completely, look, he got caught completely out of the center. Look, when he gets hit, his body is sideways, he's out, his opponent is really pushing in with everything, comes in, and white is not even close to the center. Very nice follow through. Very nice follow through. Cloudy, long time no see. I know. I explained earlier, I moved. I'm in a different place. So I haven't had, like the setup and everything going on. So today I said, okay, screw it. I'm going to stream, and we're here. So I'm hoping to do this more often because obviously I enjoy doing this. And yeah, I know a lot of people has been messaging me about, if I'm okay, if everything is fine. I'm in Osaka right now. So I'm training a lot more. I'm still doing Japanese school, language school here, so it's taking a lot of my time. But hopefully within the next few weeks, I'm gonna have more time so I can record more videos and I can do more things here on YouTube. And again, if anybody's coming this way, just send me a message. Maybe we can catch a practice together, or like meet up or something. Okay. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm gonna put one more time. Okay, the Discord server is there on this chat. I'm gonna put it again. If you haven't, please hit the like button on the stream because it really helps the stream get pushed out to more people and helps this channel grow. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, whether it's on Discord, Instagram, or just a comment in my videos, and I'll try to respond as quick as possible. I'm still trying to catch up with a lot of stuff, a lot of comments and things, and still videos and that I've been doing. Hopefully the next video that I'm going to be pulling up is going to be a comparison between the Myrmidon set and what's it called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Predator? No, it's not Predator, but something like this. It's a custom made Bogo set from Kendo Store, and comparing to the Myrmidon set, which is a stock set, because Andy gave me a very nice discount on the custom set. So I'll give you a little bit of feedback, but if you have any questions, send them my way so I can answer them before I post the video. Burp Lady in your area. Hi, I'm a fan from Hong Kong, I think. Thank you very much. I thank you. I appreciate it. You're reading for your Q Dan exam, and in the end of the month, you have always been inspiration. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have a couple of friends now that I'm here in language school. I have a couple. If you're in Hong Kong, I have a couple of friends from Hong Kong. I've been wanting to visit because I hear that you guys have good food. But yeah, I wish you the best on your test. If you have any questions, anything I can help out, let me know. And yeah, so if anybody has any other questions, anything, let me know. Even though I'm gonna end the stream, I'll be in the chat for a minute or two. So thank you very much for passing by. And again, Make sure you share this channel with somebody you want their channel to improve. Wait, hold on. Mitochondria just got the Sentinel Bogu. I cannot pronounce all these names. And you're loving it. You'll be curious about what I think about a predator. Yeah, I cannot pronounce it. But yeah, it's a good Bogu. It's a good Bogu. I'll post the video hopefully within this week. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. If you haven't, please hit the like button. And I'll catch you guys on the next stream. Take care. Bye.